Hi, my name's Cormac McManus, and this is my Theory to Practice project for my English Language Arts Methods class. I have a strong belief in my language arts learning philosophy, but while a teacher can be headstrong in their ways, I believe it is vital to success that a teacher is flexible and responsive to his class's needs. If you try to judge a fish on his ability to climb a tree, you are not setting up the class for success. So while I present my philosophy, keep in mind that adjustments will be made depending on a number of different variables, such as grade level, students in the class, and the resources I have available. My beliefs about learning stem from my own education. As a student, I found myself getting in trouble and getting frustrated during classwork. I would go home most days wondering, why am I learning this? And where is this homework leading me to? And often this homework was just a stepping stone towards a new homework assignment. There was no end product, nothing to work towards. It wasn't until I entered a project based learning classroom that I had these questions answered. In a project based learning style, all assignments seem to build towards an end product, so students can find purpose for all assignments in a form of a tangible end product or presentation. Project based learning is the child of two learning theories, social and cognitive constructivism. Social constructivism is based off the idea that learning occurs through collaborative environments, and cognitive constructivism is based off the idea that new knowledge can be assimilated into existing knowledge. With these two theories working together, we can have students work together to take on new content and apply it to their own world in a project format. One major flaw in project based learning is that many students can find large projects daunting and unachievable. And when students experience a failure in a group project, they can become discouraged and apprehensive to engage in a project again. That's where my belief in building student self efficacy comes in. Self efficacy goes hand in hand with project based learning. Without the belief that you and your group mates can reach the final product, you will never reach success. It's the teacher's job to build this self efficacy through modeling and scaffolding. Imagine you're given a huge project due, and you're given no examples of it and no directions of how to complete it. You'd feel pretty unconfident about your ability to complete it, wouldn't you? So it's the teacher's job to show examples of past class projects and scaffold the project so it is composed of smaller steps that culminate into the final product. This way, students have a clear idea of what's to come and the steps to complete it, and what is expected of them in the end. This turns a big project that seems scary into a mindset of, I know exactly what it takes to get there, and if we work together, we can reach that final point. So, together, project based learning and self efficacy allows my class to learn new information based off prior knowledge, work together to solve problems, build off previous assignments to a meaningful end product, and reach high expectations through scaffolding projects and building self efficacy through modeling. Because of the project-based learning format of my class, it is important for my classroom to be set up in a group fashion. Table groups of 4 to 5 will be formed based off of the unit and project at hand. Depending on the project, groups may be formed by student interests, abilities, or how well certain students work together. The day will be set up depending on the project at hand and what part of the project we are doing. Projects start out with more lessons that build knowledge on the content areas and slowly give students more control over the project until they're having just work time on the projects. It's also best to do other lessons and units before working on the project. So, for example, if I'm doing a project that integrates history with language arts, I would put my math and science lessons beforehand. I would do this because if I put the project first thing in the morning, then when it's time to shift gears into other subjects, groups might not want to stop what they're doing to shift into a different subject. One misconception about the project-based learning style in the language arts that I hear a lot is that it does not touch on all the medians of language arts. There are two different ways to tackle this misconception. First, you can create projects that give students choice for which language arts medium they want. For example, let's look at some project ideas on the Revolutionary War. In a project based on this historical event, groups could have the option of doing the following for a final product. They could create a children's book based on the events from both the American and British points of views. They could create an audio tape of the two sides debating about the event. They could create a newscast that reports the events from either an American or British point of view. Or they could recreate an event with a short play. This way, groups are given the freedom of choice, and other groups can get exposure to the different aspects of the language arts through watching the group's presentations. Another way of ensuring all mediums being integrated is by having different scaffolds leading up to the final product integrate the different language arts. So that way they are still learning the content they need to complete the lesson while improving their skills in a variety of language arts mediums. Language Arts Common Core State Standards are covered through the building of knowledge during the beginning of lessons and are put into practice during the creation of the final piece. Let's look at one of the examples I used previously. Create a children's book based on the event from both the American and British views. The final part has students demonstrate their ability to fulfill this standard. Analyze multiple accounts of the same event or topic, noting important similarities and differences in the point of view they represent. This is not the only time this standard would be covered. Throughout the project, we would look at primary sources from both the American and British points of views, and as a class, practice the process of looking at similarities and differences between said point of views. Integrating content areas comes naturally in a project-based learning style classroom. While you could do a whole project on a piece of literature and integrate different aspects of language arts, you can also integrate science, history, math, and art easily. You can find the standards you want the project to cover and make the final product of the lesson something that integrates a language arts standard with the given content area. Let's look at some examples. A science and language arts project that would have an instructional video with voiceovers that explains how to tell the difference of a chemical and physical reaction. A history and language arts presentation on an assigned battle from the Revolutionary War. And a math and language arts project that's a set of trading cards with statistics and descriptions of players or people. Technology also lends itself nicely to a project-based style classroom. Just look at some of the examples I just gave. One had a presentation and another had a video. Lots of the lots of the projects will have a final piece being made with some sort of application or technology. The trick is to diversify the technology used and give many choices. If you made every final piece a video, many students will become tired with it. So it's important to always integrate technology into projects as long as it's not overused and it serves a purpose. There is no point in integrating a technology that students will never use again. So make sure that it's something that they will be able to use for the rest of their education and their life.